opening statement. Got it. Exhausted. Is it bad?
That's how I feel like last minute.
You made it through after.
If you start with the statement, then he walks past you, then it screws up television.
I got it.
Here we go.
Because I didn't score it like my average.
Who cares?
I don't care, but I'm just saying it's so funny.
All right, now we have the Michigan Wolverines present, and Coach May will ask you to make an opening statement, and then we'll take questions for the student athletes. So, Coach?
First of all, we appreciate you guys hanging around, waiting on us to do what we needed to do. I want to praise our guys' resiliency and their togetherness. For the majority of the game, it wasn't how we scripted it. It wasn't what we thought it would look like, but it was two heavyweights going at it back and forth, tooth and nail. And I'll just give our guys credit for staying the course. Different guys stepped up, got us ignited. And then these guys took it over late and made plays.
Questions, please, for the student athletes. Raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Please state your name and the media affiliation.
Brian Gillis, SB Nation. This is for any of the players, but particularly the two big men. You guys have played some pretty physical games this year, whether it was Michigan State, Maryland, Purdue. This looked really physical, especially inside. How do you rate that against some of your other games this year?
Danny, we'll start with you.
Yeah. It was definitely, they have great size up front. We've seen a lot of teams like that, and I think when we played them back at their place, they showed us some different things, and tried taking what the game gave me. I think that, I just don't think shots were falling really in general in this game, but it was definitely a physical game.
Vlad?
That's what you expect to play in a tournament, especially a Big Ten, the most physical conference in the country. So that's what you expect going to play in these kind of games.
You want Trey? Trey?
Why is it like physical?
Oh, this is a physical game. When it comes down to tournament time and winning, it's going to be physical because teams want it so bad and they're going to chase the ball and other people are going to be in the way. So that it's just the will to win, and I feel like that's where the physicality comes from, the urge to wanting to win so badly. I feel like that plays a part in it, but that's where we stepped in these past 3 games here at the Big Ten tournament, just that physicality and that desire to win.
Right here.
Talk about what it means to you to win the championship.
Trey, this time we'll start with you.
It means the world to me, and I think it feels. I think the best feeling is seeing the guys from last year. The smiles on their faces. This is what we came here to do. Coach recruiting us out of the portal, all 3 of us, and this is what we came here for, and this is what we want to do. So I think it means the world to me. I know that, and it means the world to my teammates. But it's a blessing to play for something that's bigger than you. With this Block M on our jersey, it's a legacy behind it. And just being able to stamp ourselves in history as a team through ups and downs is amazing.
Vlad?
I agree with Trey, but it's insane how much we impact we make on the community as well, because we all win before, and it's insane how many young kids who look at us and wants to be like we. So we're taking pride to be like a role model for them.
Danny?
Yeah. Obviously, I think that's why we all came here. We talked about doing these things in the summer when everyone was first together as a group, and obviously the end of the regular season did not end as we would have hoped, and Coach May said it right in the post-game speech, was just we have a new season approaching, and this was part 1, and we have part 2 coming up soon, but I grew up watching games like these, and just so proud of how hard my teammates played, and our coaches put us in a great position to succeed, and when it mattered, we were able to come away with the win.
Right here.
Eli Tracy, Michigan Daily. Can you guys talk about, you had a lot of different contributors step up this tournament? Can you talk about, an LJ or even a Ruben taking a bigger offensive load during this tournament and what that means to you guys?
Trey?
Just the perseverance we have as a team. I mean, look, going down the line, Ruben Jones, the season didn't start off as well as he wanted it to. Roddy Gale, Will Cheddar coming back from last year, LJ Kaysen had a couple of DMPs. Just our ability to stay together, even though when it's not going our way personally. I feel like that's the biggest thing, and it shows our team's character, and it's big for us. We're going to need those guys to step up. We're going to need everybody to step up to win games, and when the number was called, they were able to do that. So it's a shout out to them. But we can't win games without those guys stepping up for sure.
Danny?
Yeah. We've seen all these guys do things throughout the year, and I think the entirety of our team was in somewhat of a slump to finish the regular season, and Coach was talking about confidence and getting back to just what we were doing and just playing with those free-flowing minds. And Trey stepped up the last few games, made some huge plays. Ruben was great. I thought Roddy was tremendous. Obviously, he got a little hurt today, but when we needed it most, guys stepped up, and we knew they were capable all along, and they just came out at the right time.
Anything right here?
Brandon Carr from WDIV Local 4 Detroit. This is for Trey. You struggled in the first half of today's game, but you came out with like a killer instinct to during money time. What was said at halftime, and basically just describe the moment?
It wasn't much said. I know who I am. My teammates know who I am. It was just a matter of, like I said, the desire to win. I wanted to win badly, and I felt like in the first half it just didn't go our way. And just coming out in the second half, it was just put pressure on them. It's time, somebody's gonna have to do it, and it's just me bringing that energy. I feel like that was the biggest thing. I brought energy the second half, and the ball just fell my way, and it fell in the basket. That was pretty much it. Just trying to give my teammates energy, and the ball ends up finding you.
I'll take a couple more for the student athletes right here.
Yeah, Charles Post, SB Nation. Vlad, you had a chance to hit a free throw to take the lead over here. You had a chance to take the lead with a free throw, you missed it, and then you got back up a few minutes later and knocked down both. How'd you put that miss behind you?
Vlad?
Sometimes miss shots you cannot think about too much. Simple. That's it.
Anything else? All right, guys, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you.
Love you for that push. Love you, Wolfie. Thanks, man.
And we'll continue with Coach May right here.
Brian Gillis, SB Nation. Coach, what kind of a lift, how big of a lift was it when guys like LJ and Will hit those shots? Because it didn't look great for you, and those guys came up and made some big plays and some big times.
It really did, and I don't remember what the details we talked about at halftime were, but I do remember us rallying around the fact that we don't know what this is going to look like, how it's going to go, but we're going to dig deep and find a way. And it's going to be possession by possession. We're not going to live in the past. We're not going to be thinking about the open looks we missed. We're not going to be thinking about the errors we made. I think our guys really held each other accountable. When we did make mistakes, Wisconsin typically makes you pay for those mistakes. And I thought we limited those types of plays, and even the ones we made, the guys made adjustments on the fly. And just a hard-fought performance. When you look at Wisconsin's team, and you see how potent they are offensively. And granted, we earned a break by not playing 4 in 4 days, and they had one extra game, and we were optimistic that their legs might not hold up as well as ours just because of the number of games. And even in the first half, when that thing was ugly and whatnot, we wanted to keep running because we thought it might have a cumulative effect. And credit our guys, they pushed through fatigue, they pushed through injuries. And like I said, when you have a freshman step up and ignite it, and then Will Cheddar bring the passion that he brings while also knocking down big shots and improving the spacing on the floor, it's just, once again, we have a lot of different ways to get it done, and our guys believe that.
Right here.
Sam Nevada, Michigan Daily. Dusty, can you just talk about LJ's stretch there in the second half? I know you just referenced it, but those 2 big threes and just his aggressiveness all day.
Well, if you know LJ Kaysen, he's never going to be unaggressive. He's going to put the pedal to the metal, and we know him, and that's the beautiful thing about him choosing to join us at Michigan is we know what his DNA is. We know his background. We know who he is to the core. And so we never lost faith. It's tough to be a freshman, especially at this level with the glut of older players. And the one thing with LJ, he hit that freshman wall, and it looked gloomy. I'm not going to lie. And he busted through that thing and found a new energy. And if he didn't have that substance, we're not sitting here. Another team is on this podium now.
Steve back there.
Dusty, Steve Strimming, XL Sports. Got two questions for you. I'm going to ask the first one. Such a physical basketball game, and it really wasn't reaching. It really wasn't oddball fouls. It was everybody moving their feet, everybody into the game. Second question is, what do you think everybody down at Eastern Green and Salisbury is thinking about right now about Dusty May?
Well, I hope they know. I'll start with the second one first. I hope they know how proud I am to be from there and have the relationships and connections and work ethic that was in the people that poured into me. So very, very grateful. Back to the physicality. That's how we were raised at Eastern Green. My old coach, Mark Barnheiser, he created a culture of extremely high standards and toughness and team-first mentality, a lot like the former great coaches at our university. So couldn't be more grateful for all the people that made us work harder than we wanted to and felt like it and just pushed and challenged us to be the best we could be.
Did you answer the first question? Oh, well, I'm sorry.
I did. I went second first, sorry, Mr. Benner.
Okay. Turnover.
Charles Post, SB Nation. Can you talk about what your defense did to John Tanjay? I think he was 1 for 14 to finish. He didn't score for the first 25 minutes of the game.
Well, first of all, he's an extremely tough cover, and a lot of people had him as a player of the year in the league, and in our league there are a lot of really great players, so he was at the top of the list. And I thought our discipline, I thought he's so good at getting downhill and getting you off balance and getting you in the air and drawing fouls. And I just, he got to the line 8 times, and I thought that was incredibly important to keep him single digits. But I thought overall we contested all of his shots. I thought even when we were behind the plays, we made an effort to challenge and contest everything. And I thought we made him work on both sides of the ball. And that's what you have to do against great players like these guys, Tanji and Blackwell and obviously Winter and Crowell and those guys. And Klesmit's won a lot of ball games. Those guys, if you don't challenge every spot, every movement, then they're going to make you pay.
Right here.
Dusty, can you talk a little bit about the 3 big lineup you went that after it got tight there late in the second half and probably had the most success you've had all season with it today?
Yeah, I'll give the staff a lot of credit. It's something we've talked about using and we've never had to at times. And in this game, Roddy Gale had a hamstring situation and we felt like we just needed some spacing. And so they made the suggestion as a group, and it didn't take long to agree to that because it's what we needed, and we have faith that Danny Wolf and Vlad and Will all can sit down and guard 1 through 5s, and we trust them to do that. So I thought that was the difference of the game. Once LJ got us going, that big lineup with great shooting size, other than one defensive error, I thought they played almost perfect basketball where they generated good offense, they worked well together, and then defensively they were physical and locked into the scouting report.
Right here.
Yeah, Eli Tracy, the Michigan Daily. Wisconsin won your first Big Ten game, and now it's your final Big Ten game going into the NCAA tournament. Can you talk a little bit about how the team has grown from that first Big Ten game to now? Areas of improvement, areas where you still see you need growth?
Well, if we didn't improve drastically, we wouldn't have been able to win this game because Wisconsin is much, much better than they were. I think it was December 6th. And I'm going to take a shot at the Big Ten. As soon as I saw the schedule released, I looked at it and said our staff's first Big Ten coaching game, we go to Madison, Wisconsin. Come on now, jokes aside. So that one gave us confidence, though, that we could go on the road and beat the best teams. And that's the type of respect and admiration we have for their coaches, their players, their program, their discipline, their culture. I could go on and on. And so that was the first one where once we found a way to get that one done, we thought, okay, we can really do this. We believed it, but sometimes you need a little bit of evidence that it can happen, and I thought that game gave us that evidence.
Dusty, right over here again, more. Steve Strimming, XL Sports. Talk a little bit about what we just all found out. You're a 5. You got any thoughts on where you're coming in for the NCAA tournament?
Denver's one of my favorite cities on the planet. And so we're going to go out there and hopefully run up and down like the Nuggets, get used to the altitude, and be excited for the challenge. It's obviously different for all of us, but just grateful to be a part of this event. It's the greatest spectacle. I remember being a young kid, and the school bus drops you off, and where you're from, where I'm from, they don't drop you off at your door, and sprinting home and turning on the TV and watching that first game you could. And so just to be a part of it and do it with this group of guys that have sacrificed and fought and just stayed together when it wasn't easy, just an honor and privilege to go keep playing with this group.
A couple more for Coach right here.
Yeah, Dusty, you've talked a lot about this season that winning championships brings teams together forever. Now that you guys have won this tournament, what do you think it means to you and the team as a whole?
In all honesty, it's great for these guys. They're going to bring their grandkids and their children, and they're going to point up at that picture and you see those banners in Chrysler. Chrysler is clean and crisp, and when you're part of one of those, it's really, really cool. But for me, it confirms that we're going to be able to bring this group back in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years, because I care a lot more about that than I do the actual banner. The banner and the number, the year is just a symbol of this group coming together and doing something special. But more importantly, I know that these guys they're gonna come back in 10 years and tell stories about this tournament and tell stories about the time we got knocked on our hotels the last 3 games of the regular season, how we responded. So ultimately, we're very proud. I mean, when you have a history and a legacy like Michigan, then you're very proud to be a part of that. But it's great that I know this team will have a bond for eternity.
Last question for Coach right here.
Tony Harper, Indiana Sports Network. There's a lot of talent out there in the portal. You went out and brought in 2 bigs and a point guard. But more importantly, it was their personalities that blended with what you already had. How did you make that selection?
I'll be honest. I don't think. I don't use a bad word in here. Guys that aren't about the team, guys that they don't put others first. They don't like us. Our staff, we have a staff of driven, hungry, intelligent, self-aware guys, and they model the behavior every single day completely together. And then for whatever reason, the guys we go after, they share the same character traits and values, so it really just happens organically. There's signs that pop up and red flags, and we usually try to go the other way, or we just try to dig a little bit deeper and analyze whether we can help them or do they really fit us. And we have a lot of trust, and we're not just chasing the banner. You know, we want to be around guys who have the same, I guess, ambition that we have and have the same care for others and people. So it just kind of happens. We go watch them and how they interact with each other and what programs they come from. And the guys they came from great coaches before, other than Vlad. His was average, but the rest of the guys we brought from the portal came from great programs and great coaches. So we're thankful for that.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.